Jing by TechSmith. Jing is a screen cap application or screen capture application. And what that means is it can record whatever you're doing on the desktop, whatever functions you might be doing. Say you're running an application that you'd like to share some processes in, or perhaps someone has a question on how to use the learning management system. Say run a grade report or use a Dropbox, something like that. You can record those step-by-step instructions with a voiceover, upload the file to a library, and then send a link out to the student or colleague who might have the question or want to see this function. So it's really kind of a help desk type tool. It's very helpful in that regard. Now, what you can't do is make very, very long videos or edit them or annotate them. That is better served with other software. This is a down and dirty free piece of software. I will say I love this piece of software quite a bit. I use it often. In fact, if you've ever called me with a technical question, chances are you got a Jing video back that walked you through the process step by step. Okay, so where do I get Jing? You go to the TechSmith website at techsmith.com, and you'll notice they have some products here, these top downloads, and Jing is the last one in the gold bar here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that. That'll take you to a download page. Now, I'm a Mac user. I have it on my MacBook Pro at home. I have it on an iMac at home, and we have it in the studio right here where I'm talking to you in this tutorial. So I would have clicked Start Mac Download. If you're on a PC, you're going to click Start Windows Download. So here's the deal with that. You'll see the Windows system requirements. One of the things that I have had pop up is this Microsoft.NET Framework requirement. Now, most of the machines on campus I have run into do not have that. You'll have to install that. So it'll be doing the download. It'll ask you to install the Microsoft.NET Framework. Well, you're not going to be able to install Jing or that framework without an administrator password. So if you want Jing, you can email me or call me at extension 2289 or put in a help desk ticket and ask for Phil to install Jing. And what I'll do is I'll pass it along to one of the MLTs or Richard. They'll come by with an administrator password. They'll get logged in. They'll download the software, install the framework, and then you'll be up and running. And it sounds like a couple extra steps here, but let me tell you, I really like this piece of software. It's become very handy for me to help people out. And I think once you try it out, you're going to like it too. If you decide to do it on your personal machine at home, of course, you're already administrator and you don't need to worry about that sort of thing. But I wanted to mention that because I have run into that where I've installed this and it's asked for that .NET framework. So again, you'll click the download. It will install, and while it's installing and going through the process, it's going to prompt you to start your library. This is where all your videos will be stored, and your library will be at screencast.com. Screencast.com is run by TechSmith. So you'll record your desktop. You'll click share. It will upload the video to your library. And then from the library, you'll be able to send links out to whoever you want to send them to. It seems like an extra step, but the reality is you need a place to host these files because they're Flash files. You can't just send the file out if the recipient doesn't have a copy of Flash on their machine, or say they're using an iPhone or something like that. They're not going to be able to actually view these files. In fact, nobody will. iPhone, Android, whatever. It's not going to work. So you'll need to have that screencast.com library. So let's assume I've clicked download because I've already installed it on this computer, and I've set up my library at screencast.com with my login and all that information. I've set my library up, and now at this point I would have Jing installed on my computer. I'm going to move this out of the way here. And I have a browser window here in the background, and I'm going to use this as my experiment. But before I do, I'd like to show you what happens when you've installed Jing. You'll notice in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, there's a little yellow sun. Now, don't panic. This thing doesn't stay here forever. You can quit it and hide it so that it's not there on your desktop all the time. On the Mac, it hangs out in the upper left-hand corner, and you can't move it. On the PC, you can stick it pretty much anywhere around the perimeter of the screen. Now, when you mouse over it, these little blobby things show up. That's a technical term. So the first blobby thing, you can hide this ball by clicking Done, send feedback to TechSmith, set up your preferences. You have some options here. There's a help menu, and then you can quit. And this is how you get rid of the blob. You click it, and the little sun disappears. I'm going to hide this now. Okay, so now the next blobby thing in the middle here is the history. Every video you create and upload to screencast.com will show up in a little window that shows you the videos you've made. So you do have a history of what you've done. The next blob that comes off of the sun as the crosshairs. And this is what captures the area that you're going to record. So again, we've installed Jing, and we've set up our screencast.com library, and we're going to make a recording now. Okay, so you have two options when you record. It gives you some crosshairs, and you can select a small area or however large an area you want to record. These are the options for the recording down here at the bottom of the screen. We'll get to those in a minute. What I like to do is click the capture crosshairs, and you click in the very corner of whatever browser window or application window you'd like to record, and it will grab just that window. Okay, now we'll talk about the buttons here in the corner. The first button is a screen capture. It's just a still. You click that, it'll basically take a snapshot of whatever's going on in the browser window. The next button is capturing your video. The next button, which I use a lot, is to redo the selection. So it essentially starts over. It's a do-over. If you don't like your recording, you can start over. What you can't do is edit things out in this application. You have to start over. And then cancel is to go ahead and close out of that window. Say you decided you're not going to make a recording, you click cancel, and then you're done. So that is the functions here at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so let's make a recording. It'll give me a countdown to tell me that my microphone's on. And you can get a microphone from me, call me at extension 2289, or hit me up on my email, ppaskvan01@terra.edu, and I'll get a headset for you so that you can do some recordings. If you don't want to record your voice, you just need to show the processes, you can always essentially pantomime with the cursor what you want the recipient to do. But of course, if this is a long video, that's pretty complicated, and it's really not the best way to go. The voiceover is the nice part of this particular application. So right now I'm recording, and the way to tell is on the edges of the screen you have this little film strip showing, and then you'll have a progress bar at the bottom of the screen, and I'll talk to you about that here in a second. So we would make our recording. So say our student wanted to know where to find the syllabus in Canvas. You will open up your window, go to the course. So so maybe I wanted to go to my course. And now I want to show the student where the syllabus is. So I'll click syllabus, point it out to the student, tell them, here it is, take particular attention to my contact information, whatever you want to tell the student or the recipient. And then when you're all done recording, you'll click finish. And it'll give you a preview. And you can name it something descriptive so that you'll have it in your library. And in the future, if anybody else calls and say, hey, how do I get to the syllabus? You'll have a recording of how to get to the syllabus. Okay, we're not quite done yet. You may want to watch the video by clicking in the middle here and making sure that the recording took place and everything that you wanted to say is in the video. And if you don't, then you can hit cancel and then restart. If everything is cool and you like it, you'll click share via screencast.com. So it's this little trident-looking icon. And it will give you a progress bar in the upper left-hand corner of the upload. Now, you got to pay attention to this little box, and you got to be a little bit quick, because as soon as this is done, it'll give you a link to the URL. So give it a second here. And now you're going to click View on screencast.com, and the window will come up. Now, that box that we were looking at will disappear. It'll only hang out on the screen for a couple of seconds. But don't panic. You can go to the history and find your syllabus video and click on that and get to it that way. So if you miss that little link, not a big deal. You come back to the history and you'll find it here. Okay, so now it is in my library at screencast.com. The next step is to send it to your student. So you'll copy the URL up here on the top of the screen, open up an email, paste it into the email and say, here's the video on how to find the syllabus, and then email it to your student, colleague, whoever you want to show that to. And they can then, again, follow along with your tutorial. So like I said, if you've ever asked me a technical question, chances are you've probably gotten a Jing video from me at one point or another. And with any luck, you've been on the receiving end of one of these and found just how helpful they can be. I do want to give you one tip. You'll notice that I am scrolling in this window. I can't see the entire screen. The tip I'm going to give you is say if you're recording your desktop you may wish to shrink the browser window or the application window a little bit instead of doing it the full screen size. That way, if you send the video to a recipient who has a smaller monitor, they don't have to scroll around to see the whole video. If you reduce the size of the browser window, they can expand it to the point that they need to, where they don't have to scroll at all. So make a few of these, experiment, and you will find that it is very helpful. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to help you get this installed and give you any tips on using it. The last thing I want to mention before I forget is, and I meant to mention this earlier, you have a 5-minute limit on the length of your videos. So you only get 5 minutes to make the video. You can't do a lesson. You can't record a lecture. You're not going to get a ton of material in these things, which is why I say it's a help desk type tool. The other caveat with, again, it's free software, so that's what you get. The other limitation is bandwidth. You get 2 gigabytes of bandwidth a month for this. So you're not going to push this video out to the entire campus, because it will essentially turn off until the next month when your bandwidth is reinstated. I've never come up against a problem with bandwidth. I've never had an issue with that where everyone couldn't view the video in a timely manner. But then again, I've never sent it to everyone on campus. So you may want to be wary of putting it in a lesson. Say you're teaching 6 sections of the same class. You may not want to stick it in 6 classes. Not everyone may be able to enjoy viewing it. This is a better help type tool. For lesson content, there are better tools than Jing. For helping people out, I'm not sure you can beat it. So again, if you have any questions, send me an email or feel free to give me a call, and we'll get things set up for you. Thank you.